Rewiring anxiety. How one woman trained her brain to stay calm. Have you ever felt like your mind was your own worst enemy? The racing heartbeat, the knot in your stomach, the endless loop of what if? What if? What if? For millions of people, that's what anxiety feels like every day. But what if I told you that anxiety isn't a life sentence? That the brain can be trained to unlearn panic, just as it learned to be afraid in the first place? This isn't just theory. It's the story of a woman named Emily, who rewired her anxious brain into one that could finally breathe again. Hook Emily used to describe her anxiety like living with a faulty fire alarm. Imagine this: you're cooking breakfast, frying an egg, when suddenly the smoke detector goes off, blaring as if the whole house is burning down. There's no fire, just a little smoke. But the alarm doesn't know the difference. That was Emily's brain. Except her alarm wasn't triggered by smoke. It was triggered by being late for work, walking into a crowded room, even just getting a text that said, "Can we talk?" For years she believed that's just who she was, anxious, fragile, wired to worry. But what she didn't know was that her brain could learn a new way to respond. The breaking point: Emily was 28 when her anxiety hit its peak. She was sitting on the subway on her way to a job interview when suddenly her chest tightened. Her heart pounded so hard she thought she was having a heart attack. She couldn't breathe. In panic, she got off at the next station and called her sister. "I can't do this. Something's wrong with me. My brain is broken." But her sister, a psychology student, said something unexpected. "Your brain isn't broken. It's just overtrained in the wrong direction. You can train it back." That sentence planted a seed. Emily didn't know it yet, but she was about to embark on a journey of neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to rewire itself. The anxiety loop. Here's the science behind what Emily was experiencing. When we feel anxious, the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, fires off danger signals. This triggers the fight-or-flight response. Racing heart, shallow breathing, tense muscles. Now, if there really were a tiger in the room, that reaction would save your life. But in modern life, the amygdala sometimes gets confused. It reacts to emails, traffic jams, or public speaking as if they're tigers. The problem is, every time the brain reacts this way, it strengthens that anxiety pathway. It's like a trail in the forest. The more you walk it, the clearer it becomes. Soon your brain takes that trail automatically, even when it's unnecessary. But here's the hopeful part. You can carve new trails. You can teach your brain that not every smoke signal means fire. Emily's first experiment. Her therapist gave her a strange assignment. The next time you feel a panic attack coming, don't fight it. Observe it. Emily was skeptical. She thought, "How can I just watch my chest tighten and my heart race?" That sounds like torture, but she tried it. One afternoon while grocery shopping, she felt the familiar wave. Dizziness, pounding heart, sweaty palms. Normally, she'd abandon her cart and run. But this time she paused. She whispered to herself, "This is my amygdala firing a false alarm. I am safe." At first, it didn't make the feelings disappear. But something shifted. She realized she wasn't powerless. By naming the process, she took a step out of the anxiety loop. A repetition creates rewiring. Over the next few months, Emily practiced small daily exercises that gradually retrained her brain. Breathing drills, slowing her exhale to calm her nervous system. Journaling patterns, writing down her what-if thoughts and challenging them with evidence. The exposure practice, facing her triggers in small doses instead of avoiding them. At first, it was exhausting. Change always is. But with repetition, her brain began to learn. The amygdala fired less often. The prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain, started to take the wheel. Her therapist explained it this way. Each time you respond differently, you're weakening the old pathway and strengthening a new one. You're literally rewiring your anxiety circuit. The shift one day, Emily noticed something remarkable. She was late for a meeting, normally her biggest trigger, but instead of spiraling, she laughed. She shrugged, walked into the room and said, "Sorry, traffic, it sounds small." But for Emily, it was monumental. It was proof that her brain had learned a calmer way. What the science says, Emily's experience isn't just anecdotal. Research shows that therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and mindfulness physically change brain structure. MRI scans reveal that, with practice, the amygdala's activity decreases, reducing false alarms. The prefrontal cortex grows stronger, improving emotional regulation. Even the hippocampus, linked to memory and stress, becomes healthier. In short, the anxious brain can be reshaped because it's plastic, not fixed. Emily's message years later. Emily tells her story to others who struggle with anxiety. She says, "I used to think I was broken. Now I know my brain was just doing its best to protect me. It learned anxiety, and it learned calm. That means anyone can learn it too." What this means for you if you live with anxiety, remember this: you're not weak. Your brain is just following well-worn pathways. Every small practice, breathing, observing, reframing, is a step toward rewiring. It doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, change is inevitable. Anxiety isn't a life sentence. It's a signal. And with neuroplasticity, you can teach your brain to send a different one. Closing and CETA, so the next time your inner fire alarm goes off, remember, Emily, remember that your brain is listening, adapting and reshaping with every thought, every breath, every choice. If this story gave you hope, imagine what else your brain is capable of. That's exactly what we explore here. Real stories, real science, and real change. Don't miss the next one. Subscribe to our channel and join us on this journey into the incredible adaptability of the human brain.